So we've updated our table. When we had a radius of 1 centimeter or a diameter of 2 centimeters, we calculated the height to be 113 centimeters and the surface area to be 715.92 centimeters squared. Next step was we're going to consider a radius of 1.5 centimeters. And again, we're going to go through the calculation to figure out the height and the surface area in that case. So trying a radius of 1.5 centimeters, we're going to try and figure out what the height of this cylinder would be. Again, we're going to use our volume formula, volume equals pi r squared h, and we'll substitute in the values that we know. We know that the volume has to be 355, that's fixed. Pi is 3.14. We're using a radius this time of 1.5, and again the unknown is h. We're trying to find out what the height of this cylinder would be. In the next line, what we've done is 1.5 squared gives you 2.25, and we can multiply those two values on the right to give you 7.065h. We'll rearrange this equation to try and solve for h, and again we want to isolate h, get it all by itself, so we need to divide by this number in front, the coefficient of 7.065. We'll divide both sides by that value, leaving just h on the left-hand side isolated, and when you do 355 divided by 7.065, you end up with a height, in this case, of 50.25 centimeters. So we've updated the table. When we had a radius of 1.5 centimeters, we calculated the height to be 50.25 centimeters, and now we need to figure out what the surface area would be for this cylinder. So our formula for surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h, and we'll substitute the values that we know. Again, pi is 3.14. We're using a radius of 1.5. Pi is 3.14 in the second part. Radius is 1.5, and we calculated the height to be 50.25. 1.5 squared gives you 1.25, and on the second part we did 2 times 3.14, giving you 6.28. Multiplying both of those sections, 2 times 3.14 times 2.25 gives you 14.13. 6.28 times 1.5 times 50.25 should give you 473.36. And when you add the two values together, you should get 487.49 centimeters squared. Again, we've updated the table. When we had a radius of 1.5 and a height of 50.25, the surface area of the cylinder would be 487.49 centimeters squared. Now your task is to complete the rest of the table, again keeping in mind which radius, the value for radius you're going to be substituting in to calculate the height, and then using both of those to calculate your surface area. The goal is to try and find out the dimensions that will give you the smallest surface area for this can of pop.